His attorney leaned close, whispered 5 words, just 5, and Marcus's face, that arrogant, triumphant face I'd known for 16 years, turned ash gray. His fingers shook. The documents he'd been so desperate to sign fluttered like trapped birds. And me? For the first time in 4 years, I allowed myself a small, quiet smile. But I'm jumping ahead. You need to know how we arrived at this moment. How a woman everyone believed was shattered had actually been orchestrating the longest, most calculated revenge of her life. My name is Elena Harper. I'm 35 now. Until 4 months ago, I was married to Marcus Reed. 16 years together, longer than many careers last, longer than some friendships survive, definitely longer than my tolerance should have endured. But I'm patient. I inherited that from my grandfather. I met Marcus at 18. I'd finished high school a year early, not a prodigy, just determined, desperate to leave my childhood home. I landed an entry-level position at Clayton & Associates, a respected law firm. Low pay, endless filing, but it was mine. By 19, I'd risen to paralegal. I was sharp with research, precise with timelines, excellent at spotting patterns others missed. Marcus was 25 when our paths crossed at a firm networking event. Polished, driven, full of vision about launching a property development company. He spoke about the future like it was already secured, like opportunity was simply waiting for him to collect it. He said he was going to create something extraordinary. I offered to organize the contracts. That's how it began. We married when I was 20. Our daughter Lily arrived when I was 21. I continued part-time at the firm while raising her, contributing to our savings, stashing away every extra dollar. My grandfather always told me a woman needs her own resources. Not hidden money, he'd say with a wink, just hers, something no one can touch. When I was 24, Marcus's company finally gained traction. He asked me to leave the firm and join him full-time. He needed someone reliable to handle finances, client relations, project coordination, marketing materials, someone he trusted absolutely. So I became his silent partner, accountant without pay, operations manager, designer for show homes, scheduler, everything. All while raising Lily, running the home, keeping our world spinning. My title on paper? Wife. My real role? The foundation holding everything up. For 12 years, I invested every ounce of energy into Marcus's vision, and for 12 years, he received the accolades, the awards, the magazine features. At every gala, I was Marcus's wife. At every milestone, he thanked his investors, his mentors, his bold ideas. Somehow, my name never quite made the list. Gradually, the dynamic changed. He began excluding me from decisions, stayed out later for business, picked at small things, my outfits, my cooking, my lack of drive. Lack of drive? I was managing his entire operation for free while raising his daughter and keeping his schedule flawless. But yes, not driven enough. Then, 4 months ago, he delivered the blow. Tuesday night, I was preparing his favorite meal, because old habits die hard. He sat me at the dining table, expression neutral, professional. I want a divorce. Then, I want the house, the vehicles, the company, all of it. You can have Lily. He said it like negotiating a deal. Assets for me, child for you. Fair trade. Have Lily, like our 16-year-old daughter, was an afterthought, an inconvenience he was generously letting me keep. I stared. 16 years reduced to a transaction over dinner. What he didn't realize, what no one realized, was that I'd uncovered something 4 years earlier, something concealed in his financial records, something he believed was buried forever, and I'd been preparing, quietly, methodically, ever since. Before I continue, if you're hooked on these stories of quiet strength and cold justice, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell.
I share new ones every week, and you won't want to miss what's coming. Comment below. Where are you watching from? Now, back to the chaos.
Within days of his announcement, Marcus seized control. He relocated me to the spare bedroom. My wardrobe shrank to one corner of the closet. He allowed me to keep certain items. The message was unmistakable. This is no longer your home. Within weeks, he introduced her, Cassandra Ellis. Worked in his office, naturally, polished social media presence, designer wardrobe, expensive highlights. She entered my kitchen like she belonged, used my favorite mug, my grandfather's old coffee press. She was younger than my marriage, younger than my most cherished coat. But she made excellent lattes, so there's that. Marcus displayed her proudly. They lounged on my sofa, watched my TV, ate from my dishes. He'd drape an arm around her in front of me, like I was invisible, already erased. The degradation intensified. First, he canceled my credit card. Separating finances, he explained reasonably. Then the shared accounts. Then he suggested I find alternative accommodation while we sorted things. My own house, and I was being encouraged to leave. His mother, Vivian Reed, arrived to assist with packing, a woman who'd regarded me as hired help for 16 years. She sorted my possessions, decided what I deserved. Old clothing, acceptable. Some family pictures, my grandfather's handwritten notes, she paused on those. Jewelry Marcus had gifted over the years, no. Furniture I'd selected, no. Marital property, Vivian declared. Marcus is entitled. She placed my belongings in trash bags, not cartons. Trash bags, like refuse. Throughout this ordeal, I had one confidant I believed in, Sarah Bennett, friends since university, 22 years of shared history. She was the first I confided in after Marcus's declaration. She listened for hours, brought wine, let me vent, assured me I deserved better, that Marcus was throwing away something precious. But something nagged at me, small inconsistencies. Marcus seemed to anticipate my moves. When I mentioned to Sarah considering contesting for the house, Lily mentioned the next day that Dad said it was pointless. When I told Sarah I was viewing rentals in a particular area, Marcus commented that neighborhood was too costly for my budget. Then it hit me. Sarah had always brightened when Marcus entered a room, complimented him excessively, laughed at his jokes a beat too long, inquired about him first in every conversation. How's Marcus? How's the company? Is Marcus content? She'd harbored feelings for my husband for 16 years, and Marcus, collector of admiration, knew precisely how to exploit it, fed her attention, hints of possibility post-divorce, enough to secure her allegiance. My closest friend had become his informant. 22 years sold for flattery and false hope. The deepest cut wasn't Marcus, wasn't Vivian, wasn't even Sarah. It was Lily. My daughter witnessed it all. The new woman, the grandmother sorting my clothes into rubbish bags, the way her father regarded me as worthless. And Marcus worked on her steadily. Poison whispered daily. Your mother is complicating everything. I just want peace. She's prolonging the pain. I'm being generous, but she refuses to cooperate. Lily distanced herself. Not hostile, confused, uncertain whom to trust. Her father was persuasive. I risked losing the home, the security, everything I'd built over 16 years. But seeing my daughter view me as the obstacle, that was the true agony. I consulted an attorney, Rebecca Vaughn, recommended by contacts from my old firm. Formidable, zero patience for games. She assessed my case. You contributed to this company, she stated. You're entitled to half. The residence, the firm, the accounts. We battle. I regarded her steadily. What if I prefer not to battle? Rebecca looked at me as if I'd suggested sending Marcus flowers. She assumed I was defeated, depressed, too worn to fight. She couldn't have been more wrong. I relocated to a modest apartment with Lily. 2 bedrooms, cramped kitchen, boxes stacked because they didn't fit. Meanwhile, Marcus shared photos with Cassandra. New beginnings, grateful. Vivian commented, "Proud of you, darling. You deserve happiness."
Everyone offered opinions. Everyone believed they understood my next move. Everyone perceived a woman resigned, incapable of resistance, allowing her husband to dominate. Everyone misread me completely. Being underestimated has advantages. People lower their guard. They speak freely. They reveal secrets. That's when you gather the most valuable information. 4 years. That's how long I'd known the truth about Marcus Reed and his supposedly thriving empire. It began innocently enough. A late night, 4 years prior. Marcus, working late again. Pattern by then. I was balancing the company ledgers, routine task that kept everything afloat. I noticed an odd transfer, then another, a trail, funds moving to unfamiliar accounts. I investigated further, stayed up past midnight tracing transactions. What I uncovered chilled me. Marcus had leveraged everything. Multiple mortgages on the house, original loan, second, third, total owed far exceeding value. The business? Maxed credit lines, unpaid taxes, outstanding vendor invoices, equipment financing in arrears. The empire he boasted about? Buried in debt. Vehicles leased with impending balloon payments. We owned nothing outright, only obligations. I calculated that night. Debt approaching $2.1 million. Asset value perhaps $1.7 million. Net negative. But where had the money vanished? Weeks of research revealed the rest. Failed stock trades, gambling losses, a secret condo for a woman I didn't know about, extravagant purchases never brought home. The lifestyle was illusion, polished exterior, rotten core. My instinct was confrontation, outrage, demand explanation. But I knew Marcus. He'd gaslight, deflect, blame me. Worse, he might target my private funds if he knew I knew. My grandfather's wisdom echoed. A woman needs her own resources. My retirement account from the law firm days, grown steadily, separate. My grandfather's bequest when I was 29, $380,000. Will explicit, for Elena only. Kept isolated, never mixed with marital finances. Total separate, approximately $590,000. Untouchable. So no confrontation, protection instead. With my aunt's help, former bookkeeper, I established an irrevocable trust for Lily. My retirement and inheritance transferred in, not in my name as beneficiary, certainly not Marcus's, for Lily's education, future home, security, ironclad. Then documentation, every loan, every hidden transaction, copies secured off-site, safe deposit, encrypted storage, and I waited. Men like Marcus always stray eventually. Boredom, younger options, sense of entitlement. I simply needed preparedness. 4 years of patience, watching the debt grow, smiling at events while knowing the foundation crumbled. Mastered the art of silence, of appearing unaware. When Marcus finally requested divorce, demanded house, company, vehicles, everything, I nearly laughed. He wasn't claiming wealth, he was claiming liability. He simply hadn't realized yet.
In the present, I sat opposite Rebecca Vaughn, placed 4 folders on her desk, 4 years of proof, every concealed loan, every falsified record. She reviewed in silence, nearly 90 minutes. When she met my gaze, respect replaced concern. You've known 4 years. I waited for him to initiate. I knew he would. And when he claimed everything, he claimed the debt. He just hasn't comprehended it. Rebecca leaned back, smile sharp. Mrs. Harper, I owe you an apology. I assumed you'd surrendered. I returned the smile. That's the intention. Rebecca's expression shifted to admiration. So you transfer assets, you walk away clean, he inherits mortgages, business obligations, leases, all his alone. Your separate funds protected in trust for Lily. She nodded slowly, then grinned. I believe I've underestimated you. Everyone has. That's the beauty of it. The trap was set, evidence verified, documentation flawless. All that remained was allowing Marcus to believe victory was his. No one plays defeated better than a woman who's rehearsed for 16 years. The following 4 months were performance art. I embodied what they expected, devastated, resigned, fragile. Mediation appearances with tired eyes, hesitant voice. Requests so minimal the mediator appeared uneasy. "I only need enough to rebuild," I said in session 3. "I'm not trying to punish anyone. The company is his dream. The house is his heart. I don't want to destroy our family further." I sought $60,000 cash, personal effects, joint custody of Lily. Nothing more. Marcus accepted instantly, likely anticipated battle for half. Instead, I requested scraps. He regarded me with near pity, like rescuing a stray. I earned an Emmy for that role. Audience of 1, my deceitful, soon-to-be insolvent ex. Marcus's confidence swelled weekly. Carelessness increased. He shared with acquaintances that I never contested. She accepted without protest. Vivian boasted at luncheons, charity events. Marcus retains everything. She walked away with practically nothing. I always knew she lacked backbone for my son. To mark his triumph, Marcus purchased an $18,000 watch, charged to company card, still blurring lines, wore it to mediation, ensuring I noticed, dined with Cassandra at exclusive restaurants, posted images, grateful for second chances with the right person. Cassandra began redecorating, new furnishings, artwork, even repainted my carefully chosen neutral kitchen stark white. White, like erasing my existence. Appropriate, really, for her future once truth emerged. Sarah continued contacting, probing under concern's guise. I performed flawlessly, voice trembling. "I'm exhausted from fighting. I can't continue." Information reached Marcus rapidly. He relaxed further. Sarah believed she manipulated me. She was merely delivery service, cheap one. While adults schemed, Lily observed. My perceptive daughter noticed inconsistencies. Father's expensive watch versus claims of tight budget for her activities. Cassandra's shopping versus complaints of financial strain. Disconnect between projected wealth and reality. One night in my modest apartment, she asked quietly, "Mom, is Dad really successful?" I met her eyes. "What do you believe, sweetheart?" She thought, "I think he's pretending." I hugged her. "Trust me a little longer." My 16-year-old discerned truth before professionals. Priceless insight. Rebecca prepared meticulously. Divorce terms clear. I relinquished marital property claims, house, company, vehicles to Marcus. In exchange, modest settlement. Attached addendum, comprehensive liability schedule. Every debt tied to assets. Signature transferred all obligations to him alone. Legal, transparent, ruinous. Documents are elegant destruction, Rebecca said. My favorite genre. Week before final hearing, Harold, Marcus's attorney, raised alarm, requested full audit. Marcus refused. I built this. I know its value. No unnecessary expenses. Harold insisted, strongly advised verification. Marcus overruled. Cassandra eager to finalize. No delays. Harold presented waiver, acknowledging declined audit against advice. Marcus signed without reading. Impatience proved costly. Cassandra's influence priceless for my case. Night before hearing, Marcus texted, "Thank you for keeping this civil." I stared long. 16 years reduced to gratitude for compliance while discarded. Replied, "I only want what's best for Lily." Best for Lily, secure trust. Father learning life's harshest lesson. Rebecca called evening. Tomorrow 9 a.m. Judge Elena Ramirez. Ready? I surveyed my small space. Boxes unpacked. Kitchen painted warm beige. Color of fresh starts. Ready for 4 years. Morning arrived. Marcus expected triumph. Inherited avalanche instead. Requested in writing. Witnessed. If you've reached here, satisfaction awaits. Like if Marcus deserves it. Subscribe, you know you want the ending. Now the conclusion. Thursday morning, courtroom 3C. Sunlight through high windows. Scent of polished wood. Tension thick.
where 16 years ended, where 4 years patience rewarded. Marcus arrived early, best suit, new watch gleaming, shaking Harold's hand confidently. Cassandra hallway, moral support. Glimpses, perfect appearance, phone scrolling. Vivian gallery, dressed for victory lunch, smiled at me, conqueror's grin. I entered later, simple gray dress, minimal makeup, hair simple, appeared exhausted, resigned. Ideal. Judge Elena Ramirez entered, mid-60s, decades experience, seen every marital deception, reviewed file, Reed versus Harper, final hearing, agreement reached. Harold first, yes, honor. Client Marcus Reed assumes all marital assets, residence, development company, vehicles. Mrs. Harper receives $60,000 settlement. Rebecca confirmed. Judge addressed me, studied carefully. Mrs. Harper, confirm you understand relinquishing substantial property you helped create. Voluntary? No coercion? Voice soft. Yes, honor, I understand. I want Marcus to have what he requested. This to end. Judge paused, searching signs of pressure. Found none. Proceeded. Documents distributed. Marcus signed eagerly, barely scanning. Victory rush. I signed deliberately, savoring. 4 years led here. Harold reviewed final package, reached addendum, liability disclosure. Face changed, confusion. Reread, paled, leaned to Marcus, whispered urgently, "You're assuming all debt." Marcus frowned. What debt? Harold pointed. Mortgages, business loans, all transferring to you solely. Marcus finally read. Eyes widened. Numbers hit. House underwater, company drowning, total liability crushing, net negative hundreds of thousands. He'd claimed burden, not prize. Stood abruptly. This can't be right. Voice rising. She concealed this. Fraud. Judge sharp. Mr. Reed, sit. These figures fabricated. Judge calm. Mr. Reed, these are obligations tied to assets you claim. In your name, your company. Are you stating ignorance of your finances? Silence. Harold interjected. Honor, I advised independent audit. Client declined. Documentation available. Produced waiver. Marcus's signature. Declining review against advice. Judge reviewed. Mr. Reed advised verification. Chose not to. Signed acknowledgement. Correct? Marcus stared waiver. Betrayed by own haste. Yes. Voice small. Then risk voluntary. Agreement final. Marcus desperate. Withdraw. Didn't comprehend. Unfair. Judge unmoved. Signed understanding all terms. Competent counsel. Declined review. Wife disclosed nothing hidden. These are your obligations. Gavel. Petition granted as agreed. Mrs. Harper receives settlement. Mr. Reed receives assets with all liabilities. Marriage dissolved. I stood, smoothed dress, collected bag, glanced Marcus last time, slumped, papers chaos, world crumbling. You wanted everything except Lily, I said quietly. You received precisely that. Walked out, hallway, Marcus yelling at Harold. How did this happen? Threats of suits. Harold calm. Told you audit, in writing, refused. Through doors, Cassandra's expression shift. Realization, not prize, liability. Left swiftly, heels echo, no glance back. Cassandra's departure quicker than arrival, consistent. Outside, sun warm, sky clear. Behind, ex-husband raging. Ahead, freedom. Collapse swift. Weeks, Cassandra vanished. Note, not